Sir, you're trespassing in
are the 99%.
We have the EGT. We come everywhere you are, EGT. Everywhere you are, we'll be there. And we definitely going to be in Longview when that ship come in. Be aware.
Follow the man with the plan. Very simple.
We just all go in?
It's the Itochu. Yeah, I'd like to speak to the manager.
I'm sorry, can I help you?
Yes, my name is...
I'm sorry, please, you need to go outside. Our office is not set up for this many people. I'm very sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry.
It is now.
I'm sorry.
It is now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I want to talk to you.
I'm sorry.
No,
We're
because
hoping you set it up.
Either we... Excuse me. Would you call security, please?
Are you
Please
familiar
call
with the
security.
EGT situation up in Longview, Washington?
Sir, please.
no,
Please
Do
call
you-
security.
Are you familiar
Call
with?
security, please.
Are you familiar
I'm,
with the EGT situation?
Please call security.
I'm with the San Francisco Labor Council, and we're very concerned about Itochu's operations.
Please, I'm very
at
concerned
EGT.
about the number of people here. Please.
We're very concerned about livelihoods being destroyed.
Here immediately. We have about 15 people uninvited who came into our office, are here with signs.
Trying to
They're
keep out of the
disrupting our
rain,
business
that's all.
activities. We need security here
disrupting
immediately.
union.
We need to get our work
You're
done.
busting the
and this is not
union.
allowed.
We're pretty
We'd
panicked.
like to carry on our normal course of business.
And what is your normal course?
Right, we just want to carry on our occupying and our protesting.
Property. Please leave the premises.
I wanted to find out about
Please leave the
Itochu.
premises. Please leave the premises. We're trying to conduct business here.
What about Itochu? What do you have to say about that?
We are trying to conduct business here.
Bust unions.
What about Itochu?
And about the future of the planet to take some sort of action. Unfortunately, we are forced to take these kinds of actions because those that run these companies don't listen to the 99% who we represent. And so I'm sure all of you who work for a living can understand that and appreciate the troubles of people who are being under the leadership or the cooperation of Itochu in Longview, Washington, where private security goons are harassing families, busting into their houses, arresting them in the middle of the night, dragging them off to jail for defending their right to be able to make a living. And unfortunately, because your employer engages in these practices, this is just the first of many, many,
This is not a
many.
public, our office is not a public
And
facility for someone to come in
raping
here
the
and disrupt us. Hey, please leave the office.
environment.
Your
Calm
employer
down as you leave the office. Please leave the office.
Your employer engages
Please
in
leave the
practices that
We're gonna leave
is
with
forced.
We need to get work done. Please leave the office.
Yeah, well, isn't that
You
nice?
should inform your head office of
Let Itochu
Please leave the office.
You should inform them that the people are very upset about what their company is doing up in Longview, Washington.
And this is just the first shot of
They're trying to break a contract that was made with the International Longshore Union and Warehouse Union to handle the cargo in Longview, Washington. They're breaking that contract. They're violating the law. Your parent company is violating the law.
Please
that can be a
stop
real
disrupting our employees. Please
to
leave
stop
the office.
disrupting your. Well, then,
Please
if you would be
leave
willing
our
to
office
join
and
us
let us-
to your employer.
I'm not
your
going to discuss
boss.
anything until you leave the office.
We
We
have
need
a-
to continue with our work.
We've got a condition.
Please leave the
for
office.
We have a
You are not
condition.
setting any conditions in our
you're not
office.
telling us to
You're
leave
not
then.
setting conditions in
Then
our
we're not
office.
gonna
That's the way it
leave.
goes.
You know, I mean, it's a Friday afternoon. Maybe everyone should take an early Friday and go home.
Let them go home today. It's Friday. It's raining. Let them keep the traffic. Hey, y'all go home.
Y'all should just
Everybody
take a
go
break.
home.
Because we're obviously
Go home, man. Go home,
disrupting
y'all kids and family. Go home, man.
It's Friday afternoon.
Take Friday home. It's a dangerous environment.
Is an injury to all.
United we stand,
divided we fall. An injury to one is an injury to all.
United we stand,
Divided we fall. An injury to one is an injury to all.
I'm here to protest against Itochu and their union busting. They're a partner in EGT, which is trying to destroy the ILWU in Longview, Washington. So we're letting them know how we feel about it. We're also encouraging their workers to come out and take a Friday afternoon off.
United we stand, divided we fall. An injury to one is an injury to all. United we stand, divided we fall. An injury to one is an injury to all. United we stand, divided we fall. An injury to one is an injury to all.
We're just getting pushed around too long, too far, and we can't do it. We can't get pushed around anymore. People got to rise up. everywhere in every place. You know, these are peaceful protests, right? These are First Assembly rights. These are rights that we fought for, right? To get ahead in life, right? These are the rights we're defending today, right? To just defend our standard of living, our neighborhoods, our communities, and stop these wars.
No, I think this is the first of many actions at Itochu facilities around the world. I mean, they have 150 operations in 75 countries, and we have friends in a lot of those countries.
Well, in Japan, Dora Chiba went up to the Itochu headquarters and spoke to them and let them know in no uncertain terms that we're keeping an eye on this company because they're exploiting workers in Longview 1.
We're here because this is a company that is willfully engaging in union busting of against an important and militant union, the ILWU. We're disgusted with union busting, and we're here to take a stand and to let these folks know at Itochu that it's unacceptable. And you know, the guy doesn't want to talk to us, so that's fine. We're not going to leave, you know, because we want to make our point. So he needs to know that, you know what, they're as responsible as well. They may be a subsidiary, but they bear a responsibility in the union busting. They can walk away from that contract and go find some other one where there are union jobs and defend and respect union contracts.
And are unions behind this? Are there any unions backing the protest against Itochu?
Yeah, I'm in a union. I took the day off to come out here. I'm with up DCWA. We just passed a resolution at the UC Berkeley Local where we stand in solidarity with the Longview workers and the caravan that's being organized to go up there. Also with Freedom Socialist Party.
Well, I mean, I'm basically here to support workers in Longview. I know that Occupy is going well above and beyond the call to support those workers and show solidarity. So I'm here for that. I'm here because I identify as part of the 99%. I am a working class person. I come from a working class background. I'm an immigrant from El Salvador, and I just connect with the struggle. So I'm here to support those workers and support the Occupy movement.
My name is Henry Johnson.
And why are you here?
In solidarity with the ILWU Local 21 workers and their fight against EGT, and of course this company I guess is part of Itochu, and so they're all part of the same criminal family, and as the ILWU always says, an injury to one is an injury to all, and so we try to strike them wherever we can.
They're pretty upset in there today.
Yes, well, you know, corporations are basically dictatorships, and managers are like thugs and bullies. They're used to having people follow their orders without questioning, so when people come in and raise questions that he can't answer, all he can do is blow up.
I'm Bob Price. I'm with the American Federation of Teachers 2121 and also the Freedom Socialist Party, and I'm here because I'm fed up with one case after another, these multinationals taking away union jobs. Now they're really threatening the very existence of and the militancy of the ILWU they're threatening the jobs of the people in the ILWU and threatening that whole union by union busting at the Port of Longview, and I feel like this kind of thing has to stop, and you know, all of us being out and going up to the companies that support or part of EGT, that's part of what we need to do to make sure that we keep those jobs as union jobs. And the Longshore Union has been standing up for years for social justice. They've been out on strike to support various things like Mumia Abu Jamal to stop apartheid in South Africa, and we need to be out to support them now. So I think it's really important. It's the very future of the labor movement here in the U.S. I think depends on
the 99%. We are the 99%.
Sorry,
we are the 99%. We are the 99%. We are the 99%. We are the 99%. We are the 99%.
You won't let us out.
The 99%.
You won't let us out.
We are the 99%.
Let them out.
We are the 99%.
That's hilarious.
Oh, I've been kidnapped! Oh my God! This evil corporation has kidnapped us.
All right, officer in training.
Let your boss know we were here.
We'll be back.
All right, Minnie Cobb.
We'll be back.
Power to the workers. A 32-hour work week.
Yeah.
Starts today.
Sir, there's nothing urgent about it.
Urgently.
Sir, This is the
Please
first
leave.
This is the first of many
Please
actions
leave.
that we're going to do at
Please
Itochu
leave,
facilities around the world.
Please leave.
No, this is.
Please
we
leave.
know that Itochu has operations, 150 operations in 75 countries, and we're going to hit them one at a time until they stop this union busting operation up in Longview, Washington.
Did you call?
As part of EGT.
What's your answer?
And this is just the beginning.
Yeah, bye-bye. Have a nice Friday.
We'll be back.
We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back.
We had a demonstration against one of the three companies as part of the consortium of EGT, Export Grain Terminal. It's Itochu, the Japanese company, and Pan STX, the Korean shipping company, and Bunge, the grain company. And so this is one of the triumvirate here. We went in, and I guess the office manager was totally surprised by the number of people that came out on this rainy day to express their anger at what their consortium is doing. And so we had some chants in there. We tried to talk to management. They didn't want to hear it. They just wanted us to get out of their offices. So we let them know in no uncertain terms that when that ship comes in to Longview, Washington, there's going to be major actions along the West Coast and around the world in protest against what this company is doing. And in fact, here I took one of the Itochu monthly magazines. Was going to present it, ask him, like, what do you mean by shifting towards a more offensive management approach? Is that what you're talking about, what's happening in Longview? Calling out armed Coast Guard vessels with helicopters to attack workers who are trying to defend their jobs? It is an offensive management approach, and it's something that the trade union movement is going to have to unite together and fight.
And is this unprecedented for the Coast Guard to, with helicopters to come in and bring in a scab ship?
I haven't seen the Coast Guard involved in a labor dispute like this before. I know they have a very bad record in terms of the labor movement in this country. It was the Coast Guard that screened out the militants off of the waterfront in the seamen and longshore unions. Thousands of militant longshoremen and seamen lost their jobs because the government accused them of being communists or communist sympathizers. But as far as a military operation to break a strike, I have never seen that before.
And you think they're going to use the threat of taking away Quick's cards to intimidate the locals and the members of the locals?
Well, you know, this is a whole question of port security and homeland security, and what it's come down to is repressive legislation that provided for the TWIC card, that's the Transport Workers Identification Credential, which is a requirement to work on the waterfront now. And so they've threatened the longshoremen that if they try to do anything illegal, and by illegal they mean blocking trains or having more than 4 people picketing at a gate, that they'll take their TWIC cards. In other words, they'll never be able to work on the waterfront again. And that's the kind of intimidation that the government is complicit with the employers against militant unions, or just workers fighting for their rights, trying to keep their jobs.
So you think the Obama administration is aware of this struggle?
Of course, look, it's kind of like the more things change, the more they stay the same. We have our first black president, but he's really, when it comes to labor, he's really not any different than Reagan was during the PATCO strike, when he brought in the military air traffic controllers to take over the PATCO jobs and arrest the head of the union leadership. He wasn't any different than Nixon when he sent in the the National Guard and the Army to break up the postal worker strike in '71. So there's a whole history in this country of the government attempting to break unions. The last time the Longshore Union was directly impacted, I think, was under the Truman administration, when we had a strike in 1948. Harry Truman threatened to send in the Army to occupy the ports and load the ships. And longshore unions around the world said, if you do that, maybe you can load it in the United States, but it will not be unloaded in any port in the world. And it was that kind of solidarity that won the '48 strike. It's that kind of solidarity that we're going to need today to win this strike.
And the ILWU International, have they issued any statement protesting this use of the Coast Guard to bring in the scab ship?
Not that I know of. It's something that the Committee to Defend ILWU, which is a rank and file committee that came out of Local 10, it's something that our committee is attempting to do, is to bring this issue to the entire labor movement, that an attack by the Coast Guard is elevating this struggle, weighing it heavily on the side of the employers. And we want the government to stay the hell out of this strike, this struggle. We've been picketing. The operating engineers are doing our work on the dock there, and if the company is successful in busting the ILWU out of the port of Longview, this could spread like a cancer up and down the Columbia River, and then up to Washington through Puget Sound and down the coast of California. So it's a direct threat to every longshore local, and we've got to take it that way. It's time for the union officials to step up and recognize that the Coast Guard is complicit in Itochu's attack, in Bunge's attack, and STX shipping attack against the Longshore Union.
And there's been some effort to divide the Occupy movement with the ILWU. What's the scoop behind that?
Well, it's the president of the union, Robert McElrath, put out a letter on, I think it was January 3rd, stating that people should come up to Longview when the ship comes in. And that's fine, but what he cautioned against was shutting down the ports. And that's because the PMA, the Employers Association, is threatening to go to court. They're trying to get an injunction against the union under Taft-Hartley, the Slave Labor Act, to stop the union from shutting down any ports. Fact is, we've got a right to go to a rally to protest against a company that's involved in union busting, and not only that, we've got an obligation as unionists to make sure that we do everything we can to defend our union. So if workers come out to march on Longview when the ship comes in, and we've got a caravan of people going up from the Bay Area, then there's not going to be enough people to work in the port. That's not our problem. Our problem is the attack by PMA and the other employers trying to break our union.
The issue of business unionism, I mean, the AFL-CIO, Trump is saying it's a jurisdictional dispute. Is that an obstacle, really, to fight these companies as union busters and the government?
Well, Trump's position is the same as EGT. EGT says this is a jurisdictional dispute. But the truth is that operating engineers don't do waterfront work. We are the ones that load and unload ships. We've been doing it for 80 years. And to take that position is to run point for the employers. And it's time that the labor bureaucracy in this country just step aside, because they're an obstacle in the struggle against fighting for workers' rights.